verse 15. And it reads, who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature? Verse 16, for by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. Verse 17, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. First and foremost, I want to give our honor, our glory, our praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and to the Akim and the Akwaf that listen and learning. To you, I say Shalom. And once again, this brother Muhammad coming at you with a quick lesson. And as Colossians said, 1 and 17, it said, he is before all things, and by him all things consist. So when we talk about flight, when we talk about slavery, when we talk about, and I'm saying flight, because these are some of the main things that are about to take place on the planet Earth. And you'll understand what I'm saying, once I get more in depth into the lesson. And we talk about slavery. Flight is slavery. Flight is slavery. And the all. And when you talk about slavery, you have to talk about that all, that digital all that you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans that's going to volunteer to take, so that you can be a perpetual slave and servant to Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the global elites. So let's get right into it. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1. Let's go down to verse 9. And let's read the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9. It say, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us. And matter of fact, let me just read verse 11. See, there's no remembrance of the former things, neither should I be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that should come after. So the Lord Yahweh is telling us that, there's no new thing under the sun. And one of the things that it still eludes 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans is the chariots of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh. That's right, I said the chariots of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh. And those will be what? Those are unidentifiable aerial phenomenons that Esau Edom constantly tell you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans that they are little green men, alien spaceships. But we know that those to be the chariots of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh. Those that are in the truth. Those that are in truth. Matter of fact, we're going to go right to it. Let's go to the book of Exodus. See, because it said, matter of fact, let's go back to Ecclesiastes, and then we'll go back to it. It says right here, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and 9, it says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there's no new thing under the sun. And there's no new thing under the sun. We talk about flight. When you talk about flight, when you talk about, the so-called Wright brothers and they first, to be the, I guess, so-called endeavor to take flight, to take a plane and use it as flight. It already been done. It has already been done by the creator of the heaven and the earth. And the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh, as we go back to Colossians, right? Let's go back to Colossians. I hate to keep going back and forth, but we have to go back and forth. And so you can get the understanding, the proper understanding. Let's say, for by him were all things created. For by him, that's Colossians 1 and 16. And we go all the way down to verse 17. Say he is before all things, and by him all things consist. Flight. It was already before old times. As we came out of Ecclesiastes. So let's go to the book of Exodus. I think it's in 15. Let's go to Ecclesiastes, Exodus chapter 15. Let's get right. Matter of fact, we'll do it like this. It's a pillar of fire, right? By day. Yeah, Exodus 13 and verse 21. This is when we was coming out of the land of Egypt, right? And we was going into the wilderness, right? And it said, the book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 21. And it reads, and the Lord Yahweh went before them by a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night a pillar of fire. That was a chariot. That was flight. That's what Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he had a chariot, and that was flight. He that have an ear, let him hear. Pillar, it said, by night a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. Verse 22, he took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, because the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua said in the book of Revelation, let's go to Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7, the book of Revelation 1 and 7, it said, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. That means that he gonna just break through the clouds, man. That's all it's saying. He ain't saying he on a cloud. It's gonna look like a cloud. The chariot's gonna look like clouds. That's what, when you have all these chariot sightings, that's what people be thinking. They say it's a dove up in the air. They'll say it's a weather balloon up in the air. They use all these different little things to throw you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans off. But they are chariots of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. A chariot. Let's read that, Revelation 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, would prove what regeneration of a man said, because even they also which pierced him, those centurions that pierced the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua back on the earth this very day. It's saying all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. So, and that's flight. And we're going back to Exodus chapter 13, verse 21. And the Lord Yahweh went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them away, and by night a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. Verse 22, Exodus 13 and 22. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. So the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua was leading them by in a chariot. A chariot. He was taking flight in ancient days. See, he was taking flight in ancient days. See, there's nothing new under the sun. Matter of fact, let's go back to Ecclesiastes. I might be going back and forth, man, to get the point. So you have to beat the point home in Israel, man. You have to beat the point home. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 10. See, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old times, which was before us. See, and that was had already been before old time, which was before us. Meaning us in this generation right here. So the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he's always been the first of all things. He's the first to fly, in the chariots. He's been the first to do everything because he's the first. He's the firstborn of the Most High. He's always been there with the Lord Yahweh. Matter of fact, let's go to let's continue to prove to you this. Let's go to 2 Kings. Let's go to 2 Kings, man. 2 Kings, the second chapter. And we're gonna read all the way down. We're gonna start at verse 1, because you have to give a proper understanding of it. I can go right to the point, but I'd rather read. I want to read because this is like a study session for me as well. 2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, and it came to pass, when the Lord Yahweh would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, by a chariot, it say a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. Matter of fact, let's look up this whirlwind, man. Let's go to the blue level. I don't want this to be too long, but through spirit and power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, it's going to be what it's going to be. 2 Kings 2. We're going to look up this whirlwind. Hebrew.
Strong's H 5591. First reading, Se'er. Se'er. Second reading, Se'ara. Se'ara.
Okay, you got it. And it says tempest, whirlwind, tempest, a storm, whirlwind. So did he actually go into it like a tornado? Did a tornado come and take, Elijah, up into the heavens? No, it was a chariot. Why? Because we already proved that flight already took place in old times. Flight already had taken place in old times. So it took him into the heavens. It said it took him into the heavens.
Strong's H 8064. Shemayan. Shemayan.
It say heavens, sky, visible heavens, sky, abode of the stars, as the invisible universe, the sky atmosphere, heavens, as the abode of the Most High. So the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he didn't take him up in a tornado whirlwind. He used his chariot, that pillar of fire by day, mist by night, and the same as the by night. He took him up in a chariot. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua took Elijah, up in a chariot. Let's continue reading. Elijah, and if you are reading out of the blue book, it says Elijah taken to heaven. He was taken into the heavens of the heavens, with the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. It's saying this again, 2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. And it came to pass when the Lord Yahweh would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. And Elijah said unto Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for the Lord Yahweh hath sent me to Bethel. And Elisha said unto him, as the Lord Yahweh liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Bethel. Verse 3. And the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel came forth to Elisha, and said unto him, knowest thou that the Lord Yahweh will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. Verse 4. This 2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 4. And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for the Lord Yahweh hath sent me to Jericho. And he said, as the Lord liveth, Lord Yahweh liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. The Lord was transporting, Elijah right then and there, man. He was going different places right then and there. That fast, man. If you get the just understanding of this. Verse 5, 2 Kings 2 and 5. And the sons of the prophet that were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, knowest thou that the Lord Yahweh will take away thy master from thy head today? And he answered, yea, I know it. Hold your peace. Hold ye your peace. Verse 6. And Elijah said unto him, tarry, I pray thee, here, for the Lord Yahweh hath sent me to Jordan. And he said, as the Lord Yahweh liveth, as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And they too went on. Verse 7. And 50 men of the sons of the prophet went and stood to view afar off, and they too stood by the Jordan. Verse 8. It say, and Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. Verse 9. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee before I be taken away from thee, before I be taken away from thee in a chariot, like a whirlwind. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. And that spirit, man, let's look up this word spirit real quick, man. He said, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. Let's look up this word spirit, because we're going to look it up again, man. Let's get it.
Strong's H 7307. Ruach. Ruach.
It say wind, breath, mind, spirit, breath, wind of heaven, quarter of wind, side, breath of air. His mind, man. He wanted a part of Elijah's mind, man. He wanted not his mind, but he wanted the understanding. That's where all your understanding comes from. It's from your mind, man, from your heart, your understanding of your head, man, your brain, your mind, your heart, understanding. So, again, verse 9, we're going to read it at the end, the last paragraph. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. A double portion of your mind, my understanding be upon me. Verse 10, and he said, thou hast asked. He said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. Verse 11, this 2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. He used a chariot, man. First flight, man. That was the first. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the first known flight. You can say pilot, you can say whatever you want, man. But that was the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Went up by whirlwind into heaven. Verse 12, 2 Kings 2 and 12. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariots of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. Verse 13, he took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of the Jordan. Verse 14, and he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and smote the waters, and said, where is the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua power of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither, and Elisha went over. So that's the first, that was the second, known time when the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua used his chariots to come, and he transported Elijah to the heavens. He's transported Elijah to the heavens by a whirlwind, and that chariot was making a lot of wind, man. It looked like he was going up. It might have looked like a tornado, to him during that time. That's why they called it a whirlwind. And if anybody looked at, just the example, a small example, is when a helicopter getting ready to land, and if it's landing in a dusty area, you'll see how the ground, how the dust started turning. And so that was a chariot. That chariot was lifting off when he came and took Elijah. So there's nothing new under the sun. So the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he was the first to make flight, man. And we're gonna get one more instance of it, man. Let's go to the book of Zechariah. Matter of fact, let's stay in the blue letter. Let's go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 1. I didn't want this to be this long. It's a flying scroll. If you go to the blue letter, they're going to say a flying scroll, a chariot of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. The book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. It was a flying roll. That's how they described things back then. They describe things as how they appeared, in the ancient days. They wouldn't say, oh man, it looked like, say, some modern day technology, because this was in ancient days, man. So they use what, the terminologies that they used and how they spoke during that time. He said a flying roll. I'm not gonna try to get all deep into, what Zechariah was seeing, but he said a flying roll. In verse 2, Zechariah 5 and verse 2, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Verse 3, Zechariah 5 and 3, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off on this side, according to the number, according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side, according to it. I'm trying to see if you know, and Elijah was talking to an angel, and it was just really talking to an angel there, and he was looking at a chariot, man. You know, and he said, this is the curse that goeth forth over the whole nation, over the whole world, pretty much. It was a chariot. So those are chariots. Those are just, you know, a couple of instances where the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua was the first to take flight, man. You know, he was the first to take flight. Now we're gonna go into this this diabolical plan that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is trying to come up with, that he want the whole entire world, he want everyone to be chipped. He want everyone to be chipped, you know, so that they can know your every movement, so that they can monitor you, you know, around the clock, 24 hours a day, because they want to be like the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Again, there's nothing new under the sun, man. And let's get it, man. We're gonna get right into it. And we're gonna go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, and we might start at, we'll start at verse 15. It's Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 15, and we're gonna read down. I don't know how far, but it said, and thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord Yahweh thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. So, you know, we got to remember there's nothing new under the sun. And this devil is trying to make you 2/3 of you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. He's trying to make y'all a bondman again. We're still in captivity, but we had an appearance of freedom. But this devil right now, he's trying to come up with his diabolical plan where y'all gonna know, because y'all gonna take this digital all this time. And this is just a instance where the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he made like every 7 years, and then you had a release year for the, you know, if you had a servant. But Esau Edom, he don't want you to be released. He wants you to be a perpetual slave to him, to serve him and only him. So that won't be in the remembrance of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because y'all gonna be praying to Esau. Y'all gonna be praying to the global elites. And let's read. And thou shalt, verse 15, Deuteronomy 15 and 15. And thou shalt remember thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord Yahweh thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. Verse 16, Deuteronomy 15, 16. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee. And that's what y'all gonna be saying. 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans gonna be saying, we don't want to go serve the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Esau. We want to stay with you. We want to serve you. And the Lord, he's saying, hey, if y'all see that it's well with y'all here in America, Babylon the Great, you know, spiritual Egypt, then y'all gonna stay here, and y'all gonna take that digital chip. Verse 17, this is Deuteronomy 15 and verse 17. Then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever. And also unto thy maid servant thou shalt do likewise. So, you know, and that's why we saying that 2/3 of you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all gonna volunteer, you know, because y'all don't want to serve the God of the Bible. Y'all don't want to serve the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of the Bible. See, there's nothing new under the sun. The Lord said that these things was back, you know, when we was coming out of Egypt. He gave certain instances how you should conduct yourself. You know, like if you had a servant, you had to thrust an awl through his ear, that he gonna be your servant forever. And now y'all want Esau Edom, you know, to be y'all God forever. Let's see. Let me see if I'm keep reading out of 15, Deuteronomy 15. We'll go to, we just read 17, so let's go to 18. It shall not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away from thee, for he have been worth a double hired servant to thee, and serving thee 6 years, and the Lord Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in all that thou doest. And we've been a double servant, you know, to the Esau Edom for over what, 500 or 600 years here, you know. And y'all continue, and y'all want to continue, you know, to be, you know, in this perpetual low state, you know, by being a servant, from being a slave. And let's get it. The book of Revelation. We'll go to the New Testament, man. The book of Revelation, chapter 13, go right to the point. It say, And it's in the book of Revelation said the beast from the earth. Start at verse 11. It says, the beast from the earth, but we're going to 13. Revelation 13, verse 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. See, in the ancient days, he would thrust an awl through your ear. But now they're gonna put this digital awl, this digital grain of rice through your right hand or your forehead. It's gonna go through your right hand or your forehead. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, that no man might buy or sell, say he that had a mark on the name of his beast or the number of his name. Verse 18, it say, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. It is the number of a man, and his number is 666. See, and that's why 2/3 of y'all are gonna volunteer. Because y'all are rejecting the name of the Lord. How about some y'all rejecting his ways? Y'all think that it's gonna be better for y'all to go stand in the chipping lines, to get y'all digital rights, so that y'all can be a perpetual slave forever. Because y'all don't have a kingdom mindset. That's what's wrong with 2/3 of the Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. They don't have a kingdom mindset. And you have to, just to go out on faith, man, you have to have a kingdom mindset to understand that the Lord God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Again, as I said yesterday, who is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Our people want to continue and see, this devil, he the first to take flight. No, I'll prove to you that he was not the first to take flight. I prove to you that he's not the first to say that he want all man to come unto him to serve him. See, this devil, he gonna want this devil is getting ready to, this diabolical plan is to get every human being on earth to be chipped so that they can be a perpetual slave. And you Negro, Latino, Native Americans just bowing down. Y'all should be crying to the heavens and the heavens, man, to the earth, to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Don't allow this man to accomplish, his diabolical plan, his wicked agenda. But for this movie script, y'all are playing your role. Y'all are playing, y'all locked. Y'all be sheep led to the slaughter. Gonna be sheep led to the slaughter. So there's nothing new under the sun, man. No, these scriptures are for real. These scriptures don't lie. Let's go to the book of Zechariah, man. Let's go to the book of Zechariah, because we said we're going to look up that word spirit. Go back to the book of Zechariah. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 12. It said Jerusalem to be attacked. Jerusalem to be attacked. This is if you're reading the blue letter. Zechariah 12:1. It said, the burden of the word of the Lord Yahweh for Israel, saith the Lord Yahweh, which stretches forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth and formeth the spirit of the man within. And the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he formed the spirit of a man within. Let's look up this word spirit in Zechariah, man. It's the same. In fact, let's get it again. Let's get it again. It's the same.
Strong's H 7307. Ruach.
Okay, you got it. So the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he formed the spirit of a man within. So in every kingdom, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he gave a man what? He gave, matter of fact, let's put it up. I'm gonna have to keep going. Because I like, right here. It say, right there, you see, Ri'ah. I can't pronounce that. It says, as gifts preserved by the Most High, God's Spirit departing at death, disembodied being. It says spirit. It says as gifts, So the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, even in Esau's kingdom, he gave them the wise men of the earth, you know, in their kingdom. He gave them various gifts, man. He had gifts of scientists, you know, which, you know, we know those would be the Germans who came up with all the nuclear missiles. You know, you got all this different technology. So he gave, you know, them these you know, the Lord. That's the power and that's the graciousness of the Lord. How about some outside? Every kingdom, he gave their wise men, you know, different gifts, man, so that they could lead. And he knew that Esau would lead in doing everything wickedness. You know, everything that he gave them, all these great gifts that he gave these so-called great men and wise men, and all they've used it is for wickedness. Why? Because they are the body, because they are the personification of wickedness, man. So they was created to be wickedness. And the Lord, Yahweh knew that any spirit and gifts that he gave them, they would use it for wickedness, man. They use airplanes, man. What do they use airplanes for? To drop bombs, to spread chemtrails in the air. That's what they use airplanes, you know, the technology for. They use that for all wickedness, man. He had Gad on the earth to show them how to cultivate the land. And what did they do? They went and put pesticides, you know, in the farmland. All wickedness. You didn't have to do that. The Lord Yahweh made the earth, man, and as the Garden of Eden, man. You didn't need no pesticides to put on your crops. But they say, hey, man, we're going to put pesticides on the crops. What? The Lord Yahweh gave herbs from the earth, man. And what did they say? No, man. What we're going to do, we're going to come up with the FDA, and we're going to give y'all this medication. And all they're going to do is make you more sicker than what you're supposed to do, as opposed to using the herbs that the Lord Yahweh put on the earth. See, they've taken everything that the Lord Yahweh, all the gifts that the Lord Yahweh has given them, and they turn all their things into wickedness. Why? Because they are the wicked, right? Let's get that. Let's go to Malachi, man. You know, we're going to close it out here in a second. Because the wicked going to do wickedly, right? Let's go to the book of Malachi, chapter 1. It says God's love for Jacob. You know, in this Malachi 1:1, it says God's love for Jacob. Book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 1. It said the burden of the word of the Lord Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord Yahweh. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau's Jacob's brother, saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua? Yet I loved Jacob. Verse 3. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. You know, because why? Because they had to come back. Esau had to come back, man, you know, from that pit. But we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua host, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. And the people, let's look up this word people, because sometimes our people don't understand, you know, people, they take it as a person. You know, say people, that's plural, man. That's not singular. People. Let's look up the definition of people, man. It's sad that we have to look up the definition of people. Let's look up
Strong's H5971.
Nation.
Second entry.
Nation. People, nation. Persons, members of one's people, compatriots, countrymen, kinsmen, kindred. Looked up that yesterday at camp. So we know a people is not just one person. Let's go back to it. Verse 4, Malachi 1:4, it said, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. They're going to return and build the desolate places of wickedness. And what you look around you, yeah, you might see some beautiful buildings. You might look around you and see, but you know, a lot of beautiful things, but everything is built around wickedness, man. You know, the water is, you know, you can't even go down to a pond and drink the water because they take the lobster, the crab, clams, they take crawfish, all of this out of the waters. So now you got murky water. You can't even drink the water. Whereas Edom said, we're impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua have indignation forever. See, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua got indignation against Edom forever. Matter of fact, let's look up Edom, man. I cannot leave out of that, whereas Edom said. Let's look up Edom real quick. Let's look up Edom. Oh, man, stop. Let's look up Edom, man. Let's look up Edom.
Strong's H123.
Edom says red. It's an Edomite, Idumean, descendants of Esau, land of Edom, Idumean, land southeast of Palestine. That's Edom. Who's Esau? That was Jacob's brother, Mr. Jacob's brother, man. That was Jacob's brother. But the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua said, I love Jacob, and I hated Esau. Amen. And they red. They not white, man. They white. The screen is white. The back of these are blue letters, black letters on this screen. The screen is white. The background of this screen is white. When you show me somebody who look like that, I'd be fucking amazed. You know, that'll be the first. But we don't see. They are red. They are. Esau, even the so-called white man, is red. Their skin is red, translucent. They have no what you call it? Damn, I'm tripping. Melanin. No melanin in their skin. No melanin. So, and again, this just was a quick lesson, but just a lesson on there's nothing new under the sun, man. Flight, you know, this devil trying to make a perpetual slave out of 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is nothing new, man. This is nothing new. Deuteronomy 28:6, they showed us that. Deuteronomy 28:6, they showed us that. Matter of fact, we're gonna close out. Let's go back to the book of Deuteronomy 15. Let's go back to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 15. Let's go back to 15. Because it was something I missed there. It was something I missed. I know it was something I missed in Deuteronomy chapter 15. Let me go down. We start at what? 15, didn't we? 14. We'll go to 15. Give me the 15 now. Let's go down. We start at 15. Let's see. Yeah, what I said, you know, like we'll read Deuteronomy 15 and 18. You know, it shall not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away from thee. When it shouldn't have been hard after you know, the Emancipation Proclamation, man, after after the Civil War, it shouldn't have been hard for Esau to send us away free from him, because we had don't serve them, you know, over 400 years in captivity. And that's what the wicked will do, man. The wicked saying, hey, man, we want y'all to be perpetual slaves and servants to us forever. But see, after 400 years, that wasn't even enough for them. They made, what, trillions and trillions of dollars off the backs of our ancestors was free labor. It shouldn't have been hard for them. It should have been like, well, yeah, we don't work y'all niggas enough. You know, we don't separated y'all, raped y'all, robbed y'all. You know, but most important, what they did, separate the families, man, forever. We done did all that, you know, and butt broke y'all. So it should be easy for us to let y'all go. But Esau, no, because he a fucking devil. He said, hell no, I can't let y'all go. And he's saying the same thing to this very day. He's saying, man, I'm not gonna let the children of Israel go, man. I'm gonna make 2/3 of them niggas. They gonna take this M to the O to the T to the B, which is the C here. He's saying, hey, it's not enough that y'all don't served us. We want y'all to go back into the state that y'all were before, you know, the Civil War. We want y'all back in that condition. We want to monitor y'all, and we want to just continue to oppress y'all even further. See, it's not the one. Let's read it. And again, you have to relate the scriptures to present day, man. Verse 18, it said, if it seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away from thee, for he have been worth double hire serving to thee, and serving thee 6 years, and serving thee over 400 years, over 500 years. It should have been easy for him, to say, hey man, after the Civil War, man, y'all just going on y'all way, man. We're gonna give y'all a lot of land. Everything we took from y'all, man, we don't make billions and trillions of dollars. We're gonna give y'all, a couple states, but they said, no, man, we're gonna give y'all niggas sharecropping. I said that yesterday. We're gonna oppress y'all until we can't, until, man, there's no other way for us to get around and not oppressing y'all. And that's exactly what these devils did to our people and to our nation. It says, serving these 6 years, the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in all that thou doest. See, and that's how you rule a nation, man. That's how you 6 years, 7 years, 6 years, you release. Like, hey, you can go. You don't been a servant unless that servant just want to continue to stay, with his master. And we know 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are gonna want to stay with their master because their master don't give them the appearance that everything is gonna be okay. And that's going to be your downfall. And that is 2/3 of you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans' downfall. Not trusting in the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. That's your downfall. Not trusting in the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, at the mouths of the prophets. So, in closing, I give you honor, glory, and praise to Heavenly Father Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and to the Akim and the Akwaf listening and learning. To you, I say Shalom.